Hello and welcome to a new see you next Thursday. Now this week in the background for the change we'll have the Leonardo Dicaprio 11 that me and Seamus picked on New Year's Day. They'll be playing off against each other in the background if you're wondering what's going on there. So obviously the Deeps United will hopefully lose badly, but you never know. So we'll see how that goes in the background. No idea what it's going to work like, because I've never done anything like that. And anyway, to the actual chat today, it'll be obviously Sport Billy, Ed25. Hello,
Good
Billy.
evening.
And Ed77, Seamus O'Deeps.
Top of the morning, lads.
How are you both today?
I'm good, thanks. I'm in top form now. Got over me Liverpool leggy, and I'm a lot better this week.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. So we're in for a show then, are we?
It looks like, mate. Really looks like.
I wonder if it'll be as good as the match going on in the background.
I doubt it.
Well, I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work. I don't even know. I haven't even set up what you're going to get to watch. Shit. So anyway, so today, what we're going to talk about? Let's start with the Premier League, or do you want to start? I think we should actually start with some transfers. I think clear up the transfers. Cristiano Ronaldo to Al Nassr, I think it's the first one to go with, isn't it?
Yeah, and he's not going for the money, is he? It's pure love of football. He's not going for the money. So I heard.
Oh, yeah. No, it's nothing to do with money.
With the 1.3 billion, it's nothing to do with that whatsoever.
Highest paid player ever in the history of the game, but that's not why he's gone there. Because he's gone there for the quality he's gone there for the quality of the competition there. Because obviously it's top class.
Yeah.
It's obviously it's really top class football there. We all know that. Oh shit. So,
Do you think he's ruined his legacy, Tris? Somewhat with the what happened at Man United, what happened at the World Cup, and what's happened him going there. Do you think he spoiled his legacy a bit? Because it was always a two-horse race. He was the best modern day player, and I think he's tainted his.
You mean after Anthony Gordon, obviously?
After Anthony Gordon, yeah.
Or was it Lucas Dean?
Tom Davis.
Yeah, it was Lucas Dean, wasn't it? You were saying was the best footballer. Was the Salonga best left back?
At the time, he was the best left back. Yeah, he was the best left back at the time.
Yeah.
He was hardly the best French left back.
He wasn't even the best left back at Everton, let's be honest.
Well, that he was.
It's close. I think Seamus Coleman would argue, and he was a right back.
Yeah. We need him back, by the way. That pass has been awful, but there you go. Both of them.
So, sorry, to reply to your question, I think it's for some people he's already ruined it, to be honest, with his attitude at Man United, and I think he was going downhill at Juve. He'd upset a lot of people there and that, but he'll always be a legend at Real Madrid, I think. But at Man United, I think it's just there that he's tarnished his legacy.
Yeah, I don't think he needed to neither. I think if he'd have just bided his time and got his head down and worked hard, he'd have got better thoughts of. I think people got fed up with him in the end. Certainly Eric Ten Hag did. And then he didn't have a great time at the World Cup. But apparently arguing with other players in the squad, and then he moved abroad just for the money, and I think he has tainted it a bit. Like, it was always very close for me between him and Messi, who was the best modern day player, and I think he's blew it, like, for me.
Would you say, but I'm asking both of you this, is it a surprise the team he's chosen to go to? Did you think that would be where he go? I mean, obviously you might have thought he's going to go for the money, but did you think that would be? Did you think that's what he would end up doing, or did you think he'd do something else?
Personally, I thought he'd do something else. I thought even if he lowered his standards slightly and went to a team in Portugal, I thought it might have been a better move for him to go back home and see out at the end of his career, playing in the country he was born. And I think that would have been a better way for him to go personally. I can't tell him how to live his life, but it just looks as though he's greedy and going for the money. He's got enough money to last himself 100 lifetimes. And I don't think he needed the money. I think it'd have been better for him personally if he'd have just done something good but then went on to coaching. He still might go on to coaching, but in Portugal or somewhere where he'd been before, But that's just my opinion, of course.
What about you, Seamus?
Like I've said before, I thought if he was gonna move away from European football, it would be to the MLS.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well.
And that would be more for his whole business ventures, his brand, than just the footballing side of it as well.
Yeah, exactly. I really thought.
I thought he would like to try his hand out in Hollywood as well.
Yeah, I really am surprised.
Yeah, that's a point, that Deeps, actually.
Inter Miami would have loved to take him.
Or LA Galaxy.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of options out there. They would have broken the bank for him.
But he would have wanted too much money, obviously, to go there by the sounds of it. And going there and, 1.3 billion contract. That's absolutely obscene money, isn't it? I know they can afford it.
How long?
It's a good
How
job.
long is the deal?
I was just thinking it's a good job he wasn't moving for the money. Could you imagine how much he'd be getting paid if he was going there for the money?
Yeah. Bloody right there, Chris.
But it was when he talked about the contract and he said, "Oh, it's normal for me having an extra, a contract like that." Sort of thing he was talking about, and I was just thinking, "You arrogant shit! That just sounds so wrong."
Yeah.
Someone.
Yeah, he did seem to come over with arrogance. You're totally right, Chris. He did.
I just think he's forgotten that, what the real world's like.
Yeah.
They live in this protected bubble, and they don't realise how astoundingly bad it is.
Yeah, especially with the way the world is at the moment with things. You think he'd be more realistic, wouldn't you, with his aims and goals? Well, I did anyway. I thought he was a better person than what he's actually turned out to be, but you're never right all the time, I suppose.
Yeah, it is a big letdown though, because you want to see him carrying on and playing somewhere where you can see him perform. I don't know where, but yeah, Portugal would have been an interesting option. But obviously, he wasn't prepared to drop the money enough to get a move to somewhere like that.
No, but he doesn't need the money, does it? That's my point. He's a very, very rich man, and he'll still get it through endorsements. He'll still earn massive amounts through endorsements. So why would he need a playing contract as well? He could just say, "I'll go to Porto for nothing," or I don't want even paying, the basic salary, whatever it is, just to go home, see his friends and relations and all that and family, and play somewhere where he'll enjoy it rather than go out money grabbing. But
I don't think it'd have been.
Not everyone's the same.
What's his team? I can't remember now. Seamus, what was
I thought it was Porto.
Seamus, what's his team?
Sporting Lisbon.
That's it. Sporting.
Is it Lisbon? Yeah.
Sporting
Sorry.
Club
I
de
messed up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no Lisbon in the name. You only say that to
Or maybe
annoy me.
like, yeah, that is the thing. But or he could just move to the team from Madeira, the
Yeah,
island
to
he's from.
Madeira. Someone like that. Because that's his home. I mean, the money was no object. He wasn't going to be playing the competitive league, so what difference it make?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a bizarre one.
I know the other transfers you were talking about, Chris.
Maximilian what is it? Seamus, pronounce it for me.
Werber.
Over to Leeds United from RB Salzburg because Jesse Marsh is just trying to buy up all the players he'd worked with there before, by the looks of it,
Right.
isn't he? Just seems
Well,
to be
there are two
literally
trains.
trying.
Like
Hmm?
in the current Premier League, there are two trains that you can't just overlook. Erik ten Hag with Dutch or
Yeah.
Dutch-based players, and Jesse Marsh with players from RB Salzburg.
He
Yeah.
does just seem to buy the ex-RB Salzburg players or current ones. It's
Yeah.
and it's odd. Why would you back him when he's so shit at the job anyway? I don't understand how he's still in the job. He's another one. But we'll get to that later anyway. Who else has moved?
Benoit
Badishili.
Badiashile
Yeah, he's just joined Chelsea. What do you think of
from
him, Bill?
Monaco.
I moved to Chris, sorry.
Benoit Badishili.
Never heard of him.
What? Oh God, he was linked with Everton not so long ago, and Man United.
I'm sick of people getting elected with Everton. I just dismiss everything now
Good young centre
to do with
back, I
Everton.
think.
Oh, is
Yeah,
he?
but
Yeah.
saying player was linked to Everton or Man United means he's a professional footballer. That's it.
Yeah, that's true. But I thought you might have
Fair
seen the
point.
name and had a look at him. That's why I was asking you. Seamus,
No, I haven't seen him, mate.
you'll have to fill Billy in then.
Well, he was linked with us when he was around 18 with an eye for getting him in so that he would qualify as homegrown.
But why didn't you
We
buy him? Who did you get instead? Can you remember?
I don't know, like this. There's like an obscure player. I don't know, like what he
An
does. Like
obscure world
his name
record
is
speed
Jacob.
for a
I don't know.
defender,
Like
wasn't it?
yeah, his
Obs-
his first name is Jacob,
I
and
don't.
it's like something like I think his last name is in reference to one of Tom Cruise's movie, like
Yeah.
Oh, Phil
Maguire.
Jones. You might have got Phil Jones instead.
Wow.
No, it's Jacob Maguire.
Old Slabhead himself was the one they ended up with instead. I bet you
Hang
you
on a
must be
minute. Hang on a
so
minute.
glad of that choice, eh?
Does Billy not know Maguire's first name is actually Jacob?
Well, clearly not, because
No, I
I can
didn't
see
know
him
his name
very
was Jacob.
confused there.
Oh, that's what it was.
I
No
thought it was
reaction.
Slab. I'll be honest with you, I thought it was Slab.
Yeah, middle
No,
name
it's
Head and
Jacob.
surname Maguire.
No, his real full name is Jacob Harry Maguire.
Right. And what about
Ah,
Arsenal
see,
with
learned
this
something new
with
there, Bill.
Mudryk? What about Arsenal with Mudryk, Chris? Do you think it's on?
Um, well, the player wants to go there, but they seem to be arsing about a bit. Bit like
Because they need
Chelsea
a
with
forward, don't they?
Fernandez. That Enzo, sorry.
Yeah.
Just seems to be
Yeah.
arsing about when the player wants to go there, and there's a clear deal to be made, but they're not making it quickly. I don't understand why they arse about sometimes. If it's a player that they don't need particularly, you know what I mean. It's just a top up to the team. But this isn't. This is two players. Both clubs desperately need these players, and yet they're messing
Yeah.
about. It's bizarre. You just go and get them, don't you? I know it's easy for us to say
Yep.
because it's not our money and all that, but it does.
Will that push them near the financial fair play limits if they spend what are estimated 18 million for Mudryk?
Ooh.
Is that a concern to Chelsea?
For Chelsea, I don't think they're
Yeah.
spending it on Mudryk. They're after Enzo.
Oh, sorry, I'm sort of. Yeah, I'm
And
talking
they're
about
paying
Enzo.
Yeah, it's more
Well,
than
they are
80.
they are like Chelsea are sniffing around Mudryk as well.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
But then again, they get linked to almost every footballer. The
Yeah,
only
they
only
do,
one
yeah.
they've not been linked to is Tom Davies.
And Harry Maguire.
Yeah, which is
They
unusual,
even
really.
get they even got linked with Anthony Gordon.
Yeah. Oh, they
Yeah, they
tried to
did,
buy
yeah.
him in the summer. I mean, what the fuck was that all about?
They'd only give us 60 million. No, we're not accepting that for Anthony Gordon, now. Let's be honest about it.
Did you just feel
Oh, Billy, you
fucking
must you
come
must
on?
be regretting, Billy.
Yeah, that must make. Does that not make you want to cry that somebody offered you 60 million for Gordon and they turned it down?
And to make matters even worse, the likelihood of him getting even half that for Everton anytime soon is like next to zero.
Yeah,
I
I know.
What were they thinking? Just take the money and run quick before they change their mind.
Absolutely.
That's what you could have been doing.
No, not only did Chelsea change their mind, they even had to change the codes. What
Yeah.
the hell was Thomas Tuchel doing? I guess that is why Todd Bowley was so sweet with his decision. Once he figured out what what
He had
and
to look.
who Anthony Gordon actually is, he
Yeah, he
just
saw him
realized this
play and he
guy is
went,
no
"Oh,
good.
this. Yeah, we got to get rid of this Tuchel fella. He hasn't got a clue."
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh, yeah, he would. I bet he'd be in there. I bet he'd be one saying that Andy Robertson wasn't in the top, isn't in the top 10 left backs in the world. Wasn't that kind of
20 it was, top
top
20.
20? Yeah, that'll always sounds really
Top
nice to
20
you.
it was.
He's just set the record for the most assists for a defender, hasn't he? Did you see last year in the calendar year he was in the top? I think he was 14th overall or something for number of assists provided
Yeah, yeah.
in the
I like
calendar
Andy
year.
Robertson, I must admit.
12th he was
I
actually.
do like him. I do like him.
18th.
I think he's a
Ah, I love him.
hard working
Such
player.
a nice lad as well. But I mean,
Yeah, and he,
how can a fullback come in the top 20? Come in the top 20 even anywhere near?
yeah, yeah.
Just ask Trent. He'll tell you how.
But he's not in there. He's not in there this year,
No
so it's a bit
way.
of a surprise. Yeah, very surprised he didn't make the top 30.
For last season or for 2022?
2022, the calendar year.
Ah,
Cody Hakpo
yeah.
was fourth, your mate.
Only.
Yeah. Well, Lionel
Who's
Messi
top?
was
De
top.
Bruyne?
No,
Oh,
Messi was top with
Messi's
30,
top.
then De Bruyne got 28, and then Tadic with 27, and Hakpo got 23. Just ahead of Neymar. And Ryan Kent of Rangers, which is like a bit of an oddity. Just shows how bad the
Yeah.
Scottish League must be that he's in there. Oh, he just does about 45 step overs. It'd drive you mad, I tell you. Rafael Leao was in there as well. Seamus, one of your boys.
Yeah, bloody good player.
8th. I've not seen Mehdi Taremi play from Porto. Have you? Because he's 9th in the assist list in 2022 and 4th in the goal scored list of 2022.
I guess Brighton should actually try their hand with him.
Yeah, it seems like he might be one to look out for making a move soon.
Yeah, like a team like Brighton or I don't know, someone like a Roma, like teams just flirting with the top 4, top 6 places in the league.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does seem like he might be one to watch out for. I would
Yeah,
want to.
but I don't think you should be watching out for him too much. He's either 21 or already in his 30s.
Oh, is he? Is he? Oh, I didn't realise that. I thought
Yeah,
he was a youngster.
he's not a young. No, he's not a youngster. Or otherwise, he would have been signed by Liverpool instead of Nunez.
Oh. Nunes did. I mean, you look at his stats statistically. He outscored Ramos while he was there by a massive margin.
Yeah, but Ramos. This is the first breakthrough season for Gonzalo Ramos.
Well, he was only
You
there.
can't be comparing them.
Hmm, it was only really his breakthrough. Really, was last season. Everyone kept saying with
Yeah, with
Nunes.
Nunez. Yeah.
So,
I guess like if you want to make a graph, it would be like Gonzalo Ramos last season was Nunez 2 years ago. Like everything
hmm. Oh no, I
but
understand. I
the
know.
numbers to back him up.
But the one that surprised me is how far ahead of Erling Haaland Mbappe finished. He
For
was,
goals,
yeah, 10 goals more than him.
yeah, because he isn't half as injury prone as Erling Haaland.
Hmm.
And before anybody thinks like, oh, but this season he hasn't got injured. Well, he's had a long winter break already.
Hmm. Yeah, he's had a
Yeah,
Just
long.
they
wait
are. Yeah.
till yeah, yeah, just wait till the games start coming thick and fast.
Oh yeah,
I hope like
he always
I
puts
would
something.
hope he yeah I would hope he has actually gotten past the injury issues. I'm not wishing him any bad luck, but
But yeah, he does.
let's
He
give it
does
some
tend
time.
to suffer. You're right. Because there's also the list of the players who played the most football. We certainly won't be doing it in 2023. Virgil van Dijk had played the most games, 64 in European football.
All right.
I guess the likes of Cancelo and Bruno aren't too far.
Uh, Bernardo Silva was joint
Oh
second
yeah,
with 63, just one game
another guy who
behind.
plays so
Enzo
many
Fernandez
games.
as well got 63. Alisson Becker 62. Harry Kane 62. Declan Rice 61. Julian Alvarez 61 because he played a lot for Argentina around River Plate before he came over. Mount 60. Perisic 60. Kovacic 60. Tavernier got 60 without playing a single international game. Salah 60. Rooney
Yeah.
60. I'm looking. Bruno Fernandes 59. He's down same as Fabinho and Yuri Tielemans. Casemiro
Wow.
58. Who was it? Who was it? You say, oh, Cancelo down in joint 20th with a load of others like Casemiro and Gundogan and Henderson and Willie Orban all on 58 games. Rodrigo de Paul, Senghis under Ferran Torres. He always seemed to be injured at City as well. Him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess that's not the actual minutes. It's just appearances.
Yeah, it's just the number of
Because
appearances.
no chance Cancelo and Ferran Torres had the same number of minutes.
No, no. Only I think Van Dijk will be well ahead because of the amount of games. He always played the full game, didn't he? Until recently.
Well, if it's like
Yeah.
64 games, it's a safe bet to say he had
90
more than
minutes.
60, 90 minutes.
Yeah.
And
He'd have,
possibly even all 90
I don't
minutes.
remember him ever being substitute before. It was a bit of a shock when he came off at half time till you found out he's injured. Like,
Yeah.
Or maybe he just found out he's no good anymore. He's well past it.
well, he
Good
should. You
point.
know, if it was me, I would have taken him off because I wouldn't have had him in the team recently because he's been awful. But you know, Klopp relies on him. So that Kolo Muani
Yeah.
was in the assist list, 25th. Bit of a because
Yes, he's a decent player.
yeah. Oh, he's good. I like the look of him a lot. Yeah. So sorry. Anyway, so
What the hell
the
were
one
we
that's
actually
oh yeah,
talking
that was the
about?
one. I was just gonna say, wouldn't you wish to have Enner Valencia back, eh, Bill? He was in the top. He's in the top
Yeah.
scorers list. He got 24 goals in the calendar year 2022. That's what you could do with somebody to score them. Why did you let him go?
Absolutely. But it's no use having players who can score if you haven't got players who can create for them, because that seems to be our problem.
Right.
Creating chances as
But you've
well as
got
putting them
Gordon.
away.
That's what
And
Gordon's
Brighton,
good
Yeah,
you
for.
know,
no, exactly. We've got Gordon.
You need James Ward-Prowse with Gordon with his diving. He'll win him
Yeah.
plenty of free kicks.
well, that's not a bad shout actually.
And do you know what? Do you know
Gordon,
what?
yeah,
Maybe Spurs
Gordon
should
to
get
win.
him.
Listen, no, look, Gordon to win the free kicks.
Yeah.
Ward-Prowse to take them, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin to head them in.
Yeah,
That's
but
not a bad
Yeah.
idea.
If he's
except
not injured.
yeah, I'm gonna say Calvert-Lewin's always injured, so he's a waste of time, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good plan. Other than that, my Ward-Prowse aims for the goal most of the time anyway, doesn't he? Goes for goal, so
Yeah.
you might not need Calvert-Lewin for that system to work. So who else has signed? Badiashile, Wober, Ronaldo,
This guy, Shada, who signed for Brentford,
Oh yes, yeah, they
the
took him on
German guy,
loan
Kevin Shada.
for 6 months, haven't they?
Loan with an option to buy.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know much about him, but they tend to do well with their scouting, so you tend to think he's going to be a decent player.
Highly rated.
Hmm.
But nowadays, who isn't?
That's true. They do seem to all have hype, don't they?
Yeah.
How's the match
Do we
getting
think
on?
people are going to be looking in the transfer market this this window, Tris?
I think everyone is at the moment looking. It's going to be one of those seasons, I think, where everyone's going to be trying to buy. It's just who can.
Yeah, yeah.
It's such a weird league at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
You look at it, Arsenal ahead by quite a margin as well. Like it's not,
Yeah.
you can see quite a few changes, but you can't, So actually, should we move on to the actual? Should we go on to the talk about the top of the table and that? We may as well just move on to it, might we
Yeah.
now? So
Well,
I mean,
Absolutely.
as we're talking
just
about
before
Arsenal,
we,
Hmm?
just before we move on, let's just mention Jack Belton to Man
oh
United,
yes, yeah, Jack
Dejan
Wilson.
Dejan Lovren to Lyon,
Yeah, and
and Derry Blin to Bayern.
and Dubravka going back to Newcastle.
Why, I don't know, but yeah.
Ah, I do, because they got rid of Loris Karius, didn't they? They booted him out because
Oh,
he's a
did they?
useless tit. He's probably
It
too
just,
busy filming videos for his YouTube channel and stuff to actually train.
they
That's
shouldn't have signed him to begin
Yeah.
with.
Awful decision. That was their first bad decision of the Saudi era.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were so swift to take action against it.
Yeah, so that's the worrying thing for us. For the rest of the league. But anyway,
No, for teams like Liverpool who are struggling to make it into the top four. Well,
I
if
just
you
think
are Man
anybody.
United,
I
you're
think
just
the
there.
rest of them, because of the fact that they've got so much money, that like
Yeah.
if they're gonna fix every mistake they make so quickly, that's pressure on everybody now.
Mm.
Anyway, so Arsenal so far 8 points ahead. Okay, City have got a game in hand, but like still 8 points ahead is a decent lead. But do any of us
Yeah,
think
it is.
do any of us actually think they're going to maintain it and go on and win this? Can they do a Leicester?
Personally, I think no. But it wouldn't be out there if they did, because they are playing good football. They're a good, consistent side. They're getting results every week. And, they will take a bit of catching. But it's Arsenal, and they will have a blip. It might be a small blip. It might be a big blip. But they're going to have a blip. And, if you give the likes of City a chance to get in, they'll take it. And that's my money. It's to be on City to win the league, even though Arsenal, I should say, have got a good lead.
Do you think because currently they're struggling with injuries and they've not got many forwards? Do you think this is where they'll start to slide now, or do you think it'll be like February time or so before they start to hit?
Yeah, I think they let the buffers around February. Yeah, I think they're going to miss they're going to miss Jesus, although his record isn't great at Arsenal. But I think they need a forward big time. I think they're if they're not scoring goals, they're not winning many games, and I can't see who's going to be the top scorer for them. I think they're missing a forward big time. But they might address that. If they got Modric or they got someone like that, maybe they'll carry on. But I think that they're lacking a bit up front for me.
Well, that is the type of analysis that brings everyone here. If Arsenal don't score goals, they won't win matches.
Hey, Billy tells it like it is. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, I always do.
He'll be on Sky Sports next week with that quality of insight.
Oh, with that quality of insight, he will actually be the most sensible and the most knowledgeable guy on the deck as well.
That's true, but that's not really saying a lot, is it?
No, it isn't. No. So, where do you see Arsenal, Tris? Where do you see them?
I think they're gonna fall away eventually. They just haven't got the strength and depth to keep it up.
Yeah.
And I know people will say neither did Leicester, but it was a totally different situation. They were managed by a man who got them on a roll. They didn't have the quality of competition that Arsenal are facing either. Man City, you just know they're gonna go on a run of wins, put the pressure
Yeah, they
on,
will, yeah.
and I can see Arsenal folding because you just don't fancy their manager to be able to hold them together, do you? If the pressure hits, you just think.
To be honest with you, I'm giving him benefit of the doubt. You know, I think he's a bit better manager than what some are painting him out to be. I think he's doing all right, and I think he's got a few young lads in the side, and they're a consistent side. They're not making many mistakes, and I think he's got them playing very well. And I think he's a little bit better than what people are giving him credit for. Personally,
I still refer to what Seamus says, which he'll come out with in a minute, is comparison, won't you, Seamus?
Yeah, we were top of the league halfway through. Didn't have 8 points gap, granted, but with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in charge, we were top halfway through.
Yeah. Yeah, he might get found out, and if he gets found out, I'll say I was wrong. But I think he's going to have them right up there. I think one or two they're going to finish. I think it'll be between Man City and Arsenal to win the league, and I think the other one will finish runner-up. And I think Liverpool will probably finish third. That'd be my speculation at this time.
See, for me, I think Man United and Spurs and Liverpool are more of a threat to Man City and Newcastle. Sorry, I forgot them. Rather than Tottenham. Sorry, Man United, Newcastle, and Liverpool are more of a threat to Man City winning than Arsenal. For me.
Oh, do you, right?
I don't think any of them. I think City will walk it. I think City will win it, but I think it'll be those three that are more like, if it was one of those three ahead, I'd be more worried if I was City than if it's Arsenal. If it was Tottenham above, I wouldn't be in the slightest bit worried because I think they're gonna fold. You just know they're gonna mess it up.
Spurs.
Yeah, it's Spurs. They're not gonna. But yeah, I think Arsenal aren't much better these days. I just don't have any faith. I know they're doing well, but it's like it reminds me of when Leeds were doing well under David O'Leary as well. Is another example. It doesn't.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying.
They just because they've got kids, they've let them go. But the kids, they don't. You know what I mean? They don't. It's not. There's something about the team that's just not right for me, and it hasn't got the strength and depth to hold it.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying, and I agree to a certain point, but I think they're a little bit better than what people are giving them credit for. Everyone's amazed that they're doing so well. I'm not that amazed. I think they've got a good setup, and I think they're going to be hard to pull back. I think they will get pulled back by City, as I say, but I don't think it's going to be really out there if they did win it, because I don't think City are playing that great, to be honest with you, at the moment, and I think they're going to drop points. I think it's still wide open. I really do.
Did City drop points recently?
By the way, I've taken the lead. Kulusevski's just scored for me. 1-0.
All right.
Oh, sure you'd be interested in that, Bill.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
I'm
gripped.
You just pointed out I'm beating you, Seamus. Just to point out. Don't want to gloat or anything, but I'm gloating.
I
Yeah,
wonder
City
if
did
there
go.
are some shenanigans.
No, I didn't do any changes to it. I couldn't even figure out how to do the in-game editor, so I couldn't do that. Luckily, there's a super draft thing you can use, so you can just draft players.
Uh,
You know what I mean? Like and make up random teams. Like so, I just did that. Set them the same system, same tactics, same formation, and that. Didn't give any, just didn't do anything. Just went with what the assistant advised on the team talk for both of them. So I just happened to be
Right,
better at this. Sorry.
should we move on to City? I think we've done Arsenal. Unless anyone, James, do you want to have something to say about Arsenal and the chances?
I think, like, right now, my prediction for Arsenal will be fourth or below. I know they're top with quite a margin, but like we said, I just don't see them as quite like that. And unlike Leicester, Arsenal do have European football to distract them.
Yes, that was.
Pile on the number of games.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
I can see them winning Europa League much likely than actually the Premier League.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
with you on
okay.
Like
that one.
City are playing Chelsea. I guess that's a good segue as well. But City, if they beat Chelsea, they will be 5 points behind with 2 games against Arsenal in the league remaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, so still think City are favourites, but I think Arsenal will still be top two. But that's just my opinion, of course.
yeah, well, we'll tell at the end of the season, but I think a lot of it will come down to luck with injuries as well. At the
Yeah,
moment,
I
Arsenal are
think it will
being
with
hit
every
badly
team.
with them. Yeah, it does tend to a lot of the time, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but that is where City normally come out on top.
Yeah, because of the strength they've got.
Like right now with Arsenal, because they don't have Jesus available, now they're in a bit of a pickle. They don't have many options. But
Mm,
if let's say Holland gets injured, they've got Julian Alvarez, who would be a first team player for almost any
yeah,
other
Most
team in the
teams,
yeah.
league.
yeah.
Just about anybody
Not
in the
most team,
world.
I'll say everybody.
Yeah,
I don't know about what, but in the league, like
just about.
maybe not Liverpool, but even then, if Billy is the manager, he would start ahead of Nunez. And the rest of the league, I guess he walks into every team,
Yeah, I'm with you on
unless
that.
I'm forgetting someone.
Yeah, he's a good
Because,
player, yeah.
oh bloody fuck, you scored again.
You're getting a bit of a hiding here, Deeps.
No, Chris has done something. Come
I
on.
haven't done
I can't
anything.
see. I can't
I
see
told you,
Mbappe.
I told you, I picked the team to have, to actually play the positions I was picking them for, and I picked a team that I thought was a team. That was what I was doing. I did say
Who
this to you.
scored?
I didn't see
Who
who scored
scored?
the second one. Hang on,
It was a free kick. It was
I
a free kick.
didn't see who scored. It was Circus. Oh, Alexander Arnold. Oh, Trent lads, good on ya.
Yeah, but he never scores in real life from free
Yeah, the
kick.
Mars bar.
He
He
has
doesn't
scored
score
quite a
many.
few. He scored quite a few.
I know. I'm just messing about.
Beautiful
So,
players.
anyways, Man
Quality.
City
Pure class. Yeah, man.
Man City
You just see them just going on a
still the
run, can't you?
favorite.
When everybody else starts to tire. The thing that's good, the thing that's might cost them, and I think and might and that gives Arsenal a chance, is that we haven't had a proper Christmas program like normal.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a factor, yeah. It
Because
really is.
usually that's when the big clubs start to pull into it. Oh, it's half time. 2-0. I'm not going to change anything. I'm not even. We won't give any team talks this time. It's easier. Because I don't want to.
Yeah, with City, you just see them getting on a roll, start piling up the pressure.
Hmm. But do you think that they're not having the Christmas thing, might give them because if you know they normally the game's piled in over a couple of days and everyone starts to can't put their first choice team out for all the games. Normally like 6 or 7 games in a couple of in a space of like 2 weeks. Everyone has to chop and change their team, and that's when the dodgy results come in, and that's when the like apart from like teams like City, usually that's when they start to push in, don't they, and take it on.
Yeah.
And this season they've not had that. Do you think that could be a problem for them?
But
I can
there
see
will
what you're
come a
saying, but
phase. Like, there will come a phase in the league when the games start piling up.
Hmm.
Maybe not, maybe not 2 games in 3 days, but there will be fixture pile up. Because you got to remember there will be European football in between. There will be cup games in between. All the whole season has been congested.
It really does. I think a lot will depend. Um, I think on how well they do in the cups. If
yeah,
Arsenal have a
yeah.
good run in in the Europa League, and the FA Cup, are they still in the League Cup? I can't remember. But like, if they have a
Uh,
good
I
run
think,
in those two, that could cost them in the league.
yeah, yeah. City's squad so much stronger than everybody else's. They can go for the 4 trophies. I don't
Hmm.
think the others can. Uh, just because of the quality they've got in depth.
Liverpool aren't too bad either
No,
A lot of
when it
injuries
comes to
though
yes.
already, so you hit a bad patch.
Oh, a glorious miss.
Still a miss though. Are you watching the game or talking? Are you watching the game, are you? Do you want to make substitutions?
No.
It's glorious failure. That's what it is. Glorious failure.
So besides Arsenal and Liverpool, Arsenal and
And
Man
City.
City, who do you see being in the other 2 places?
Well, if you want me to say, it's gonna be Man United in the top
You
three,
think?
as things stand. As things stand.
Do you think so? I'm not so sure. I don't think they've got the wherewithal or the quality to actually get there. I think Liverpool would be my tip for third. I
Yeah,
think
but
they've
come
having
on,
a
Billy, you can't say that. Come on, because Liverpool can create 100 chances, but
Miss them
at
all.
the end of the day, the clown is gonna miss. To quote you.
no. Well, I've been giving the clown a lot of stick, but he also creates chances and he will start putting some away. He's got to hit the target one time, hasn't he, at
Scored
least?
more than Jesus has this season.
Who's
Yeah,
out
yeah.
injured though?
Hmm? Yeah, but
He's out injured though.
he scored more than him before he went out injured. But then
I thought he
Jesus,
was.
they were on the
I thought
same
he was
amount in the
five
Premier.
goals apiece.
They were on the same in the Premier League when he.
I thought it was like before the World Cup. It was five apiece for both of them, and now Nunez has scored one more, I guess.
No,
Or is it two more? I don't know.
Nunez has scored in the cups and that as well.
No, just in the league as well. I
Yeah, they
thought it
scored
was
the same in the league.
same
Yeah, they
number of
scored the
goals
same in the
before the
Premier
World
League.
Cup.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. In the Premier League it is. But I was talking about like overall, he scored more goals. And they.
Who do you think's the third, Trish? Who would you be your tip for third?
Do you know what? I think it'd be Arsenal, to be honest.
Oh,
Then
here,
who's going
yeah.
to be in the top two?
Yeah, I think Man City will win it, and it'll be between Liverpool, Man United, Arsenal, and Newcastle as to who gets the other places. I don't see us doing it though. I've got to be honest. We're so bad at the moment, and I think it's going to be too late before we turn it around. Even if we do. Do you know what? I actually think, and I hate to say this, I think United have got a good chance as anyone.
Which one?
Man
Manchester or
United.
Newcastle?
Yeah, Manchester United. I think Newcastle will, they're still a year off from being that.
I think they'll fade. I really think they'll fade more than Arsenal, Newcastle.
I don't know. I think the last season showed that they came on strong at the end of the season. If anything, I think they're in a position where it depends on what they do in the transfer window. It must be said, but I think they're a much stronger prospect than last season. But I can't see them. Yeah, I think I can see what you're saying. I think they're the ones that are likely to miss out on the top four if anyone, because they just haven't quite had enough time to build a squad yet, strong enough squad.
And it'd be great if they do, because they're all cheats. They're one of the worst teams to watch for me, Newcastle.
Are they?
On all the diving and play acting and they're the worst in the league at the moment.
No wonder they're looking at Anthony Gordon.
Yeah, I was going to say that must be why. Anthony Gordon, Bruno Fernandes, and Harry Kane, and their jobs are good.
Harry's doing well, actually. I don't think they're going to get top four. Tottenham.
No, I can't.
I think we can rule them out of top four now. I don't think they've got the quality.
Talking about awful to watch, Tottenham are probably the worst team in the league to watch. After Southampton, to be fair.
I was just waiting for that.
No,
but nobody watches Everton.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wouldn't know.
You're right there.
Who's going to watch Everton? I mean, this guy, the Bill Shankly coach, come back in, hasn't it? Because I'd close the bloody curtains. Christ, our Anna closed the curtains and she's an Evertonian.
Yeah, but I'll say my top four at the moment would be to finish it. It'd be Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, and Manchester United. Would be my top four, I think. I don't think Chelsea are in the mix. I think Potter's struggling at the moment. I don't think he's going to get sacked, but they're on a really bad run at the moment. And even if they get a couple of players, I can't see them making a sustained challenge. I think they'll maybe finish 5th or 6th, but I can't see them challenging either. They don't look a great side at the moment.
Chelsea got a massively unbalanced squad. They brought in a coach rather than a manager, so it's someone who's going to take time to address their problems.
Yeah,
and
very much so. True.
Will they give him time? I mean, there's already a lot of the fans already turning on him. Telling him things
yeah, yeah.
I've seen comments like he's just a PE teacher and stuff like that. I mean, these people, do they actually know anything about football to make comments like that about? He's okay. He's not a big name and he's not had the success yet, but he's a young manager and he's starting out in the game and he's worked wonders with Ostersund and look at what he did with Brighton. I think you've got to give them time, haven't you?
Yeah, but they don't get time these days, Tris, do they? As soon as you have 3 or 4 bad results, people are calling for your head. It's absolutely ridiculous, I know. But that's the world we live in at the moment.
But they must have known when he was hired. They must have, did these fans not look at how he did it? Did they just look at where he was when they got him, rather than where he was when he first took over at Brighton and he had a similar situation of an unbalanced squad to work with?
Yeah.
And they struggled badly. They had no goal scorer, again, a bit like Chelsea. And his team choices were bizarre, and the fans were all, were on the verge of turning on him. They weren't sure. And then it just gradually improved it, and it left them in a really strong position, as we know.
Yeah.
But,
I like him. I think they've got to give him time, but football's such a fickle game, isn't it? That it wouldn't surprise me if they did get rid of him. It really would, because Chelsea are that type. They always have been.
Yeah, you just wonder whether the new owners are going to change the mentality there, though. I mean, you don't. It would be stupid to pick him as their choice and then not give him time and backing when you know that's what he needs to actually make it work.
Yeah, absolutely, sure. They, but they're not going to be in it, are they? Tottenham, I'm discounting them from top four. United are looking okay
Which
for
one?
me, but I can't see them getting higher than fourth. That's my prediction. Fourth is the absolute maximum they can get to this year.
I think they might get, because of the way it's all a bit messy. They might do a bit better. I think they've got a good manager who's doing well, and the only
Yeah,
problem
I
they've
like the
got is
manager.
the only problem they've got for me is they not going to be able to buy the players they need in January to really take it on a level.
Yeah,
Yeah, that could
yeah,
cost them.
but
What do you think of Fulham sat there in seventh then, Bill?
doing very well, aren't they? And another ex Everton manager. Yeah, but they're doing very well. I did say at the start of the season, I thought Mitrovic would score goals, and he is scoring goals. But he's not the only one to play, and that's a good side, actually. They're not bad to watch either. And, all power to them. And they're going to fade up. They're going to finish mid-table, which is great for them. And but I'm glad to see a team like Fulham do well. I think they're a good club. And, they're one of them who I don't want to go down. And they're not going to because they're too good a side, and they're going to take points off people. And you know, I think he's done a decent job there,
My
Silver. And
my question would be to you both. I'll start with Seamus because Billy was just talking there on them.
go on, mate.
Is this a one-off flash in the pan like we've seen with Sheffield United and the likes after coming up, or is this genuinely where they're gonna be and they can hold their own for a while, like say Burnley when they came up managed to hold their own for a while until they just didn't have the investment in the squad to stay up in the challenging in the European places. Like, what do you think, Seamus? Do you think this is a flash in the pan, or can they do this long term?
I don't think they can be like your regular fixtures in the top 5, 6, 7, however many it is. But unlike the likes of Sheffield United, Fulham have had previous experiences of playing in the Premier League. They know, like basically, I think they know how it should work. So they should be better prepared for next season and the season after and so on. I think they're in a better starting point than the likes of Sheffield United were because this is not their first rodeo.
Mm. I think totally the opposite. I think it's a flash in the pan, and I think they'll be back where they belong next year. But that's just my opinion on Fulham. I like them. Think they've got good players, but I don't think they're built to be a top club. For me, they're not. They're not that type of steady Eddie club that might, like Brighton are now. I think they're doing really well now. I don't think they're the type who are going to stay there. I think Silver's the type who will get found out in the end, like he did at Everton.
And they tend to throw money at things a bit too much for my liking.
Yeah.
Rather than like Brighton have slowly built it, they just go out and buy 20 players, like rather than
Yeah.
unstable. I think is what I was trying to say. They lack stability,
Yeah. I'd agree with that.
which could be which tends to be a problem long term. I mean, that's why Chelsea have not been able to maintain a consistent consistent championship winning team because they keep having to change manager. And I know that means they often then go on and win, but then they tend to have a really bad couple of seasons afterwards regularly. because they're so unstable.
Yeah, they'll be back though, Chelsea. They're the type who can come back, and they've got the resources to do it.
Do you know
I
what?
don't know whether Fulham would have got the resources to keep up a sustained run in the Premiership.
I'm not convinced that Chelsea can, if they don't stick with Potter and give him time. I'm not so sure they've got the resources compared to the City and Newcastle's and Man United's anymore to to make them able to keep going up there anymore. I think that's part of the problem is if they don't give Potter a chance, you know what I mean? I don't see anybody else who would give them the chance of being competitive at the top end for the long term. Because they just,
Yeah, I can see that.
I know you say they've got the finance, but their stadium's on the small side. It's not, it's. I know they've got really high prices, but they have to pay high wages and that, and stuff to get players there, and they've not got Romans to fund them and that. I just think they could find themselves stuck in a, struggling for top four every season if they're not careful.
Well, I think they'll stick with Potter. I hope they do. I think it's a toss of a coin when I say that. Hopefully they will stick with him. And if they do, I think they've got a better chance than anyone else they bring in to make them a top four side and possible championship Premiership winners.
Yeah, I can't see them winning the Premiership anytime soon unless they stick with Potter. I think he's their best hope.
Yeah, I do, Trish, yeah.
What about you, Seamus?
Chelsea, I don't think they're going to get there.
Right, well, should we go down a bit? What about Villa?
Villa? Schuster's come in and done really well, hasn't he?
Emery.
Emery, of course. Emery. He's done quite well, and they haven't got a bad side, but they're not going to go anywhere above halfway for me. They're always going to struggle. I think they're that type of club. I don't think they'll go down. They're not in the mix to go down for me, but I don't think that you can go much more above halfway. The way what I've seen of them.
But he's definitely looks to be taking them forward anyway. So
yeah, far better than what Gerrard was doing, I'm afraid.
Yeah, and Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks to be a big step forward from those two.
Yeah.
Anything to add on that, Seamus?
Yeah, nothing much. They should
start
Palace, moving up the table.
Seamus, what you got? Anything?
Well, every season, I just think maybe this is the one where Palace finally just start to crumble down.
Yeah, I'm still not convinced by Vieira. They're very inconsistent, Palace.
Yeah, they got a bit of hiding last night as well, didn't they? Tottenham. But
don't think.
Yeah, I think. No, I think Vieira's done okay. Actually, I don't think he's another one who hasn't got the real money to spend. I know they're supposed to have money, but they haven't spent it that wisely. I don't think they've replaced Gallagher, and I think they're in exactly the same boat as Villa. I think they'll stay up, but they're not going anywhere up the league. They're just trying to maintain the status in the Premiership.
See, for me,
I think that's where they are.
I think their problem is that they're far too reliant on a player who's simply not good enough in Wilfried Zaha. And I know you disagree, don't you? You think he's a decent player, don't you?
I do think he's a decent player, yeah. I think a move would be a really good thing for him. I think he's a better player than the play for Crystal Palace all his life. And I know he went to Man United, but I think he's he is a decent player, and I think he could be a better player in a better side. It's just my opinion, of course.
Whereas I think he holds them back, if anything, because they play to him rather than for the team. What do you think, Seamus?
Yeah,
I think Palace is his level. He's shown that to be the truth.
right.
Up
How old
there.
is he now? Well, Saha?
Is he 30 now?
30? I guess he's 30 or thereabouts.
Well, if Moyes gets sacked from West Ham and gets the job at Everton, you can always take him there, can't he?
He could do, yeah,
To
he
meet
really
up with
could.
his daughter can convince him to join him.
Yeah, maybe.
uh, so Leicester, are they out of the woods now, or can we see them slipping back in again into trouble? Or do you think they're okay now they've pulled themselves clear and they're going to just continue to climb up?
I don't think they're in danger of going down, personally, but I still don't think they're a good side. They had another bad result last night or the night before, and they're not playing great at the moment. And it's the typical Brendan Rodgers scenario where you expect them more of them and they're not delivering. So they're another who are below halfway for me, going to finish below halfway. They'll probably get out of it. I can't see them going down, but I still think they're a bit wishy-washy for me, and I can't see them climbing the table much, although I think they've got enough to survive. What do you think, Deeps? What do you think on Leicester?
I think for this season, Leicester should be clear of the relegation zone. But in the long term, if the financial issues don't get sorted, then I guess they're fucked.
I think a lot depends on whether they
Like,
stick with Brendan Rodgers as well, or whether they realise that it's not working and change him. They're only 2 points clear of the drop zone, you know. Everton are just 2 points behind them, and they haven't got a game in hand like Leeds.
and also, like, they don't have many sellable assets left anymore.
It's shocking that they managed to sell Fofana for a big fee. It is injury
Yeah, but
history.
that didn't seem to. Yeah, but that didn't seem to aid much in
No, they need a lot
regards
more
to their
money. Yeah.
financing. Yeah, and the likes of Soyuncu, Tielemans, they're running down the contracts.
Yep.
Madison isn't.
He's running
Doesn't
down
have
his as
much.
well, isn't he?
Yeah,
He's only got
yeah,
18 months
doesn't
on
have
it.
much here.
Yeah.
Doesn't have much longer left.
Madison's the only one I'd say that was worth a penny anyway. The other two I wouldn't touch.
Yeah, but
If I
even
was
then they
Everton,
could have,
that's how
like,
bad.
yeah, if nothing else, they could have brought in fair few, at least brought in some money to buy them a decent replacement.
Mm. Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
not Pereira, but he's always injured.
Yeah, but yeah, same goes with James Justin. Like the other guys, they just come with
Yeah, that's
handle with care, fragile sticker on them.
yeah, they do well for a bit, but then they get injured. The only one I could see, Dewsbury Hall, their midfielder lad.
Yeah, he looks all right. He looks a
He's a
decent
good
kid.
player. I like him. He's a very good player. And the other one who's Luke Thomas, the left back. Decent enough left
Yeah,
back.
Right.
but
The
he's not
sellable
that.
assets I'm talking about, sorry.
There's Ndidi, but he seems to just.
Injury problems.
What's up with all those injuries? Is that Leicester? Is it
Well,
just
if it's anything like
coincidence, or is it like?
if it's anything like when Rodgers was in charge of Liverpool, the players will be half fit because he doesn't train them hard enough. Oh, that was the problem at Liverpool. We had massive problems because they just weren't fit.
Mm.
And it just drop like flies when you're not fit enough. When you're actually having to run around in the game and you're not ready for it, like you do.
Are we saying that Southampton are going
Well, I
to...
was just going to say we'll go down the table. I was thinking Leeds next.
yeah, go on, go down the table then, Trish.
Yeah, Leeds next. What do you are they okay, or do you think they? Because I think their problem is Jesse Marsh rather than their team's good enough to stay up, but I just don't rate that Jesse Marsh, and he's going to bring in more and more of RB Salzburg, which not convinced by.
The only thing I'll say about Jesse Marsh is his side are very fit. They run all day for him, but I don't think they've got the quality to go up the table. I think they're always going to be hovering in the relegation setup. But I think they just about got enough to survive, even though I'm not a big fan of Marsh. But they do run and they do try and they do work hard, which will probably get them out of it. But as far as being a good side, I think Jesse Marsh is, he's not Bielsa, is he? They're not playing that type of football, but they are fit and they do work, and that's what's going to save them for me.
I agree. What about you, Seamus? Anything to add?
Yeah, nothing much. The thing is, like, you don't have to be good to survive. You just have to better the results of the teams around you.
Yeah.
What about Forest then, Seamus?
I don't see them staying up.
You think they're going to be a goner, do you?
Yeah, I think the best they can hope for is 18th. And so some kind of fight and some passion and things like that.
Okay, before we go any further, who do we think's going to go down then in that case? Because, like, I'm looking at, and the only ones in the bottom three that I can see getting themselves out of it, obviously, Everton, it depends on whether they see sense and get rid of Lumplards and getting a decent manager or not. But I think Wolves, you've got to fancy them to pull away from it. But West Ham,
I do, yeah.
West Ham are in real trouble under Moyes. He just looks to have lost the plot completely and gone to his Sunderland days. Everton are absolute mess. Southampton as good as gone already because they brought in Nathan Jones. You may as well have just brought.
Yeah.
When they're talking about PE teachers, he wouldn't even make a good PE teacher. He's that hopeless. I don't know what they were thinking. He's terrible manager. He plays hoofball football in the Premier League. It's not 1980.
Yeah.
You've got to play. You've got to see the ball players. They're all players that are. He brought in a lot of those players came in from Man City. They're brought up playing football of the Man City way, and he's trying to ask them to hoof the ball out. Well, of course, it's going to fucking fail. And James Ward-Prowse is possibly the most overrated player in the Premier League. Nah, they're dead. It'll be by the time they they change that. It's going to be too late for me. I think they're gone.
I think they're in big trouble, yeah. They are in big trouble.
So I just leave two from Everton, Hammers, Bournemouth and Forest for me, I think.
I think Everton are in big trouble, I must admit. I think looks like Lampard's going to get till the end of the week and see where it goes from there. They're playing United in the Cup, which they'll get murdered, obviously. But I can't see what Everton are going to do. They haven't got the money to bring players in.
Have you got the money to bribe any Wimbledon keepers this year?
We will hopefully have a couple of brown envelopes.
Because that's what saved you last time, weren't it? When you were
it did, yeah. Of course it did.
I think everyone knows that is probably the most dodgy survival ever, wasn't it?
Yeah, but that's all conjecture, as far as I'm concerned. But Everton are in trouble because they haven't got the resources to bring players in. They're looking at Danny Ings on loan. They've just been told no chance. Who he went after. They need forwards, they need midfielders, and the defence isn't that great, to be honest with you. Two centre halves are decent. Patterson, the best thing that could have happened for Everton was for him to get injured, I'm afraid. Terrible thing to say, but he's been absolutely awful.
Really? You don't rate him?
Mikolenko, the same. No, the two of them have been absolutely awful recently. They have. The two of them so easily beaten. Don't close the man down. And we're conceding all sorts of goals because of it. I like the two centre halves, decent. Cody and Tarkovsky, very good. But the midfield is that weak that they're always going to be under pressure. They don't close down, they don't run back, and that's putting the defence under all sorts of pressure. And as I say, the two fullbacks just not good enough. I'd bring Seamus Coleman back in, even though he's past his best. At least he's got a brain. Unfortunately, Patterson hasn't. He might be a good kid in a couple of years, but at the moment, bloody awful. And they're not scoring goals, and that's Everton's biggest problem. If you don't score goals, you're not going to win games. Everton's problems are all up front and in midfield for me.
I'm surprised at that because everybody else that's ever expressed a view on Patterson has said he's really good defensively, but just very poor going forward. You're saying he can't defend.
No, honest to God,
Wow.
The last few games especially, but most of he tries hard, he runs, he's a very fit lad, and he does run and he tries, but he's been absolutely dreadful. He gets beat all the time on the outside, and he doesn't close down quick enough, so it leaves him on the back foot all the time. And I think he's got potential to be a very decent fullback, but it's going to be in a couple of years because at the moment he's been awful. Honest to God, he has. But everyone's saying the same as me on the site, and Evertonians I speak to who go to the game all the time. They're not that impressed with him. They're not.
Interesting.
And Mikalenko is exactly the same. But a lot of it might be to do with the non-tracking back of the midfield. And people are coming in droves. Teams coming in droves. The midfield are pushing forward. And our midfield don't track back. So they're having 2-on-1s, which it's making it worse, So, that's a symptom of it. But the fullbacks just haven't been good enough.
Interesting. I wouldn't have expected them to be the problem. Tarkovsky I'd have expected to be a problem.
He's done very well, actually, to be fair to him. He's only a stopper.
Cody's hopeless. I'm not sure.
But it's not just down to Tarkovsky, to be honest with you. It's down to the midfield and two very poor fullbacks. For me, that's my opinion. I'm watching them all the time. And last night was Tuesday night was an absolute disgrace. Wednesday night, sorry, and they were absolutely awful. And the defence, as I say, they get no cover, no backup. People don't track back. Dwight Neal, absolutely bloody awful. Awobi runs around like a headless chicken, gives nothing to the defence really. And Damari Gray the same. All right for 10 minutes in a game, but doesn't give you much else.
Do you think Iwobi's played for his new contract, got it, and now he's not bothering?
Absolutely, 100%. He was awful before his contract talks. Started playing great, got the new contract, back to square one. In my opinion, of course. But that's what it looks like to me. He's when I was talking about wishy-washy before, he's so wishy-washy. He's weak. He's very weak, and he loses the ball and puts us under all sorts of pressure.
I know Seamus really rates him, don't you, Seamus?
Oh, he's bloody amazing.
You
He
know
sure
what?
is a Messi player.
Yeah, but with a Y rather than an I, unfortunately. I tell you what, Ings would have been a great signing for you on loan.
He would have. But the only thing is, he's 30 now, he's injury prone, and he can't do it on his own. If he's not getting the service, he's not going to score you many goals, and that's Everton's big problem. It's a culmination of not making chances and people not getting the service to put the ball in the net. And that, that it goes hand in hand. That, you can create as many chances as you want, but unless you got someone to put it in. But it's also, if you've got decent forwards, they need service, and it's a
Yeah.
catch-22 situation for them.
Yeah, I remember like even Ian Rush, who's one of the best strikers I've ever seen, even he couldn't
Yeah.
score when he went to Juventus because they just didn't have any service to him, and like even the fans were saying it was like having a Ferrari without an engine.
Yeah, exactly, Trish. Yeah, that's exactly what, and that's Everton's big problem at the moment.
Well,
And
except
I
I
think we're
don't
in
think
real
anybody.
trouble of going.
I don't think
I
anyone
think it
would
would be going
describe
down.
Everton as a Ferrari without an engine, more like a Skoda.
A ladder,
Yeah.
yeah.
A broken down ladder left at the side of the road for weeks. Just had all the
Absolutely,
bits,
yeah.
had all the bits snapped off it, like.
But I think they're in trouble of going down. Real trouble. I mean, last year I thought we were in trouble. Got out of it. It's not going to happen twice on. So, to be honest with you, we've got to get rid of Frank. It was the wrong time. He was the wrong man at the wrong time for Everton, as it turns out. And I tried to back him. Wanted him to do well. I think he's a good football man. Everton were the wrong club at the wrong time for him. But he's got to go now. And you've got to bring Sean Dyche in. Get them working hard. Get them fighting for points. Not going to be pretty. I'm not saying it's going to be pretty. But he's a results guy. And that's exactly what we need. Maybe an 18-month, 2-year contract. Try and build on it. Try and get the stadium up and running. Get some investment. And maybe things will change from there. But at the moment, they're on one-way ticket to the championship at the moment for me.
Just like to point out before we go any further, the Red Machine won 2-0.
Oh, well done.
Yes. Yeah, you had Mbappe and that, but you still couldn't win, Deep.
Deep Lampard, we're going to call him from now on. James Lampard.
Yeah.
I wanted him to do well, but he let me down.
Yeah, we won't hear from him now. He's gone off to cry. He's sulking now. Bit like Lampard does. So,
I think a better name would be Ole Gunnar Seamus.
I like it, Ole Gunnar, yeah.
What needs to change at Everton? I mean, obviously, would the manager fix it, or is there just too much to work on to fix it by changing the manager?
To be honest with you, the club, and it has been for a while, is toxic from top to bottom. The boardroom, the owner, the coaching staff, the playing staff, down to basically the tea lady. The whole lot of it is not working. It's not working together as a club. They're not even good to watch. The supporters, they stuck by them, but they want them to do well, obviously, but it's just not working. And it's all starting from the boardroom for me. Since Moshiri took over, everyone's saying we're going to get money, we're going to finally have money to do things and buy good players, and it's turned into a nightmare. We've got a lot of average players on really big money that no one's going to take off us. £120,000 a week, a lot of them. Like Samina, Keane, players like that. Who's going to take them and give them the same money? It's just an absolute nightmare for anyone coming in. And the only person I can see coming in to do that job is Sean Dyche. Not everyone's cup of tea, I know that, because of the record of Burnley and the way they played. But I think he's the only man around at the moment who could actually do that job, who could keep them up.
I think both me and Seamus have been saying that for a while, haven't we? We've thought Dyche could get a job like that. And we Seamus, it was you that was saying it as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just checking. Yeah,
Not many other guys with that much sense.
Yeah, we always wonder how he hasn't got a job, how he's still and he doesn't get linked to jobs. It's bizarre.
Yeah, they are.
So
besides Everton, Southampton going down.
I think
who's the third one?
Well, I think it's between Bournemouth are awful. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I think
Um,
Bournemouth are all.
Forest, they seem to be getting better. That's the thing. They seem to be improving. So,
Yeah,
and they're not looking to make a lot of moves this winter transfer window, surprisingly. So I think they might do all right. So. I think Bournemouth are the other one, and West Ham will be the ones that struggle and just finish just out of it. I think while we're on subject of West Ham, would you take Moyes back first off if he got sacked from West Ham tomorrow? Would you take him back?
absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not. I think
Um,
it'd be a bigger backward step than ever if we're talking that.
I think before we go any further, though, I think we should say rest in peace to David Gould, and he did really well for West. Obviously, he saved them from extinction because of the Icelandic when the Icelandic bank owned them, and
Yeah,
they were on the verge of gone. I mean, he didn't do so well at Birmingham. He didn't do too badly, I mean, at Birmingham. Certainly better than their current ownerships are doing.
yeah.
But like they did leave it a
I
bit
think
of a
he's been
mess
a
when he
good
moved. But
football man.
well, he's a big West Ham fan, and he's wanted them to do well. And they've gone from a team with a small stadium that were a bit of a that were mostly known for being involved in hooligan films
Yeah,
to now being
and
in
the
a
World
massive
Cup trio.
stadium
Yeah,
and getting in Europa League. Yeah, and a World Cup trio. Yeah, winning the World Cup for England, of course. That's the
yeah,
other thing they
of
claim.
course, yeah.
But I think that's
But
own. But I mean,
but
round the
David
world.
Gold, let's just say, rest in peace to him because
Mm,
he was a good football man. Whether you agreed with all the stuff he'd done, he was involved in football for many years. And as you say, between Birmingham and West Ham, I thought he'd done a great job to keep them teams afloat at the time.
he certainly moved West Ham forward. It's just. But my question is without him, does that give West Ham a negative? Is that a negative or a positive? Is it something that they'll use to rally round and get them moving up the league, or do you think it's something that will cast a bit of a shadow over the club and make them struggle even more because they're already in trouble?
Yeah, they are in trouble. And I think hopefully it'll galvanise them. And I like West Ham as a club. And I'd like them to stay up.
At
Still got some really good players. Declan Rice for one of them. Uh, if they don't lose him, if they don't start losing players. But the Moyes side and the way Moyes plays, I don't think he's going to be the long-term answer for West Ham. And I think he's been the cause of most of the troubles this year. I don't think they've got a forward who can score really, even though they signed that Scamacher as his name.
Yeah, but he doesn't play. He didn't
I,
play him, did he?
I know he wasn't playing him early on, and I think most of the trouble is David Moyes, and it doesn't surprise me in the slightest, to be honest with you.
It's a strange one because he had such a successful spell at Everton, but since then, moderately successful, I should say, spell at Everton.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't actually manage to win anything, so that's the issue, isn't it? And he just seems,
Yeah.
but he seems to think he's Alex Ferguson ever since, and yet he's not actually won anything to shout about. It's strange that it's gone to his head.
He's always been
too arrogant.
He's always been the type to take knives to gunfights, as he said himself. He could never do it against the big teams, and Everton's record against the better teams has always been under him terrible. And I think West Ham are exactly the same now. I think they're going down the same route as Everton, personally.
I think it's his mentality. He goes into it, like you said, and with comments like taking a knife to a gunfight and things like that. It just puts doubt in the mind of the players, makes them think, well,
of course it does, yeah.
When you listen to the likes of Bill Shankly and Ferguson talk about, even when their players are shite, you never hear them say their players, they bought shite. They still talk up their players, how great they are and all that. Even when you watch it, you think he's a donkey. What are you talking about? But they don't come out and say that. They tell them how great they're always fluffing up their
Yeah,
confidence, building them up, and making them feel like they're top class players, even the poor ones. So you listen to
yeah, I
Moyes, it's
agree
quite
with
the
all that.
opposite. But how does he
Absolutely. What
not
do you
see
think,
it?
Deeps? What do you think, Deeps, on the West Ham situation?
I think West Ham are too good to go down, but that has never stopped teams from actually going down.
Hmm.
No, it hasn't. No. Leeds
But on
United,
on paper,
Manchester United.
on paper, they're just too good to go down.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's grass they have trouble with.
Yeah, but if they've got Rice anchoring their midfield, as we've seen tonight, yeah, they could be in trouble because it's just the midfield of the red machine just rolls over Rice. It's similar to what we've been watching in the Premier League, I think, this season, really.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you think will happen with him? Do you think this is his? I think he's gone in the summer, my personal opinion. What about you two?
Yeah, I think he'll go. I think he's got to. I think Harry Kane might be exactly the same exactly the same boat. They want to win things. They're really good players, and at the sides that both of them are in, I know Harry's in a better position, but if he wants to win things, the same as Declan Rice, and he wants to be part of the England setup, which he obviously does, I think he's got to move.
We
And I
look at
think whoever gets him will be a really valuable asset.
who's interested in Kane in Bayern Munich, and you'd have to think he'd be an idiot not to take the move because at least there he's gonna win things, and he'll
Absolutely.
be a difference. Whereas he's not gonna win. He's not gonna win what he should at Spurs ever. It's just not gonna happen. And the same with Rice.
No.
He's got to make a move up the table, but like he seems to want to go to Chelsea, and I'm not sure they're in a position to offer him much more chance of winning trophies
Mm,
than West Ham are at the moment. Obviously, they're going to win, but like I just want they're in a bit of a transition period. It might not be the right time for a player like that to go there. But
Yeah, but
then again, he's still young, isn't he? He's still young enough. He could.
yeah.
So
and where else is he gonna go? In all likelihood to get a step up, because for whether
Newcastle,
we'll but
Man City.
Newcastle and Chelsea, City
Liverpool.
probably aren't gonna. No, he might want to go there, but
Well,
the thing
City.
is,
Pep likes
teams
him.
have to.
Pep wants him. Pep would like to sign him.
Yeah, maybe in an ideal world, Pep would offer Calvin Phillips and some money for Rice, but the world isn't ideal.
I wouldn't be so sure, mate, because he'll want to get rid of Phillips. I can't see him. Phillips, he can't. I can't see him staying out another. Being there by the next season. Can you? He's there.
No.
He's already made it clear that Phillips has got to go. The moment he came out and fat shamed him, that was the writing on the wall. He wants rid. That's what he
Yeah.
does. Pep's done it before, and every time he said those kind of things, those comments about a player, they were gone at the end of the season.
And
So,
he's right as
Yeah.
well.
well,
He's right to expect professionalism from his players.
especially when they've been away, they've been away at a an international tournament for a World Cup. It's the biggest tournament in the world. There's no excuse for you to be getting out of shape. It's not like he's gone
No,
on
you're right.
holiday. It's one thing coming back from your holiday bobs and you've eaten a bit much and got a bit out of shape. That's one thing. But he's been out training. He's not been on holiday. There's absolutely no excuse to be overweight for a professional footballer in that position.
I
So
agree, sir.
I
Totally agree with you.
I think if Pep didn't move him on, it'd be a strange decision.
Would you take him for Liverpool, Trust?
Who, Calvin Phillips? Oh, never, not a
No.
chance.
No.
Rice.
Rice
Declan
would.
Rice.
Oh, Rice would, yeah. Oh, defo. He'd be straight in that Fabinho slot.
Mm.
I like Rice a lot.
Yeah, but I don't see Liverpool making a
No,
move for Declan Rice.
no, unfortunately. No, he'd be one I'd really like to see in that Liverpool side. I think he'd make a massive difference. He can play centre back as well, just as well.
Yeah.
So he'd be a good fill in when you need it.
I think like Man United would have been a real option for him had we
Mm.
not gone in for Casemiro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Now, like his role isn't at the forefront of the necessities for us.
yeah,
But
exactly.
then again, who knows what happens with new owners?
Mm,
For us, for Liverpool, who knows?
good point. I still think it's City. I think they want rid of Phillips, and I think he's the Pep loves Rice, and he's been wanting Rice for a while. I think he's the perfect replacement.
I was surprised he went in for Phillips, to be honest with you.
It's a strange one, a bit like the Grealish move. Make no sense.
Yeah, very similar. Players that you wouldn't associate with them, really, have, gone to City. And they were two bad buys for me from the start, not from just hindsight. Thought they were bad signings from the start. What did he pay for them? 50 million, 60 million, something like that?
45,
Yeah,
like,
Or
with
45, Phillips,
yeah
yeah.
with add-ons,
Yeah.
as well to come on top of that. So yeah,
Yeah,
it was a strange one. That he wasn't. I didn't see why what he'd done to deserve the move. He's
yeah.
injury history isn't very good. It was an odd one. Yeah,
Yeah,
but then
I think they're regretting that.
Pep does make some weird transfers. It must be said. All throughout his history, he's done that. It's a lot of it. You look through a lot of his, his transfer history, and you think so many, so many in and out that you just
Has he
think,
got full control there, Chris?
yeah, oh yeah,
Has
everything's
Pep got full
everything.
control of the transfer?
Oh, everything is done for Pep. It's what he wants is he gets. I mean,
All right, okay.
this is a club that have bought up, gone round and bought up all these clubs around the world, so they can move players around, so that they can shift money into the pockets of Man City to fund Pep spending, and get around the
Yeah,
FFP. Yeah, they've done everything to give him.
right, okay.
So, yeah, they'll do whatever it takes. They love him. Yeah, they love Pep, the owners, so they'll back him. Whatever they. But I do wonder how long he can keep going without if he doesn't win the Champions League. How long can you keep going on?
Yeah.
Spending
But
that kind
who'd
of
you get to replace them, Trish? Who'd you get to replace if he does go?
That's the thing, isn't
Brendan
it?
Rodgers.
You're
Who are
hoping.
you saying, Deeps?
Brendan Rodgers.
Yeah. We hope.
Make that happen.
That would be lovely. I gotta say, that would be the dream scenario. Though even he could win the league with City's money. Let's be fair. Though Newcastle might change that, I suppose. Right, anything else you want to talk about with that? Oh yes, I know what the other one was. What do you think of Ten Hag taking over the under-21s, Seamus, at Man United?
Well, apparently that is what he did beforehand as well at
Yep,
Ajax.
yep.
So at least it's a good thing, I guess,
Well,
because it's not something born just out of necessity, but also
do you want to
out of
explain
experience.
what his thinking is behind it, or do you know what it
Well,
is?
from the reports, basically the thinking is because the under 21s, under 23s, reserves, whatever the criterias get changed into from season from one season to another. Basically, the level of competition isn't quite up to the standards for what the younger players coming through should require.
Right.
That's the thought. So he just wants them there to be a streamline so that the players know, like the players just get familiar with the training methods, the expectations, the role definitions, things like that.
Whereas,
Which I think should be a given
Yeah, but
but
that would happen
somehow
anyway.
Yeah.
I
isn't.
don't think that, from what I can gather, the way I understand it is, what it's about is so he can say to him, right, I want you to give this player this. I want this player to play regular. You know, he needs minutes because I've got my eye on moving him into the
Yeah,
first team
that
squad.
is what that
That's
is
what
what
it's
he's
about,
trying to do.
really. From
Like
what I,
get players playing in the roles he wants them to be. Like let's say there's a midfielder and he sees Ericsson needing some rotation or replacing or whatever. Then he wants the guy. He would like someone to be groomed for that role. Is
yeah.
how I see him taking this forward. Or let's say he sees a spot in the fullback area, then he would expect the next guy in line to be prepared for that kind of role.
So
And
you're
also,
happy with it then? You don't see any problems with it?
I think it should I think it should be a given whether it's Erik Ten Hag gets named as the coach or just is the first team coach. It should be a given that the coach should have a deciding factor to
Hmm.
the whole process there.
Yeah.
Because that's the point of the team to start with.
Yeah. Yeah.
To
That's
supply for to supply for the first team is why you have players in the under 21s.
No, I fully agree. It should be about him saying these players are the ones that need minutes. These players are the ones these players that are the ones I need to play regularly and get the
And
understanding of
also
the
like
system
yeah, he also needs
and
to be
get
able to
fit.
say this player I'm going to take up, so maybe find a replacement for him in your team.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay, so we're all
Yeah.
happy with that one then. What about you, Bill?
Yeah,
Would
it
you
does
want to
seem
see
logical.
Lampard do that there?
I want to see him collecting P45 actually.
Or maybe you could just drop him down to under 21s manager and bring in a decent manager. Before we go
No,
any
it's
further, would you take Duncan Ferguson as manager?
no. In a word, no, no. They need someone with experience and someone who. What he would do, Ferguson, is galvanise the side, but I don't think he's got the know-how to get results. He'll be all blood and thunder and challenging and thing. I can see him doing that, but you need a bit more than that in the Premiership to survive. And I think you need someone who's got organisational skills, which I think is lacking in Duncan Ferguson. Not that he wants the manager's job, he's already said that. He didn't want the manager's job when he was there, when it was put to him. So I don't think it's an option. And I personally wouldn't want him there anyway.
Okay. Right, I think we've just got a couple of things we need to talk about before we go. I don't
Okay.
know if have you seen the story about the Cameroon under 17 side, the
No, only
international
what you
side.
told me,
Yeah,
Chris.
no,
I
I just
didn't
thought
see it myself.
I think we need to talk. We need to mention this. They called up they for the African Nations Cup of Nations qualifiers under 17 level. Cameroon called up a squad of 30 players for their initial. Gave them all MRI tests for their age. 21 of them failed it, so they are left with 9. So they called up another batch of players. 11 more players failed the age test. So basically, they're now scrabbling around just trying to find anybody who's Cameroonian who's under 17 eligible to play for the team.
That
Like,
seems incredible, doesn't it? Not incredible.
just shows the problems they've been having there for years. The thing is, a lot of them they don't have things like birth certificates. They don't register their births, and that. A lot of them don't actually know their age in a lot of these countries.
Yeah.
It's not just Cameroon; it's in a lot of countries around the. So it might not actually be cheating as much as as much as I'm sure there's a fair bit of that. As probably a good 90% of it, 99% even is cheating. But I'm sure there's probably a couple in there that actually don't actually know they were over 17. You know what I mean? They probably don't know their
Yeah.
actual age because that happens quite a bit in from remote areas.
Yeah, it does, yeah. Yeah, Yeah, I can see that being a problem, but
So
that seems incredible, doesn't it? That many people failing a test like that.
I know what's that? That's 32 players. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? That's a lot when you're starting off with a squad of 30 in the first place. It's, it's quite disturbing, really, how much
It
DH
is,
seating
yeah.
must be going
Very
on.
much so.
Yeah. If you were
Bloody
under
hell.
17, mate, I'd be saying check out and see if you got any Cameroonian family because you might be called up. But I think you might be a little bit old. If they have an under if they have an under 170, you might just qualify. And
Yeah, I guess we do.
the other story that's interesting is the Greg Berhalter story. Have you heard anything on this?
No, I haven't personally, no.
What about you, Seamus? Do you know anything about this one?
Well, you did tell me quite bits and bobs of it, so I guess you should just complete the story.
Oh, okay, I'll tell it then. Okay, yeah, basically, Greg Berhalter, the US coach, when they were in the World Cup, it's not confirmed his contract expired last month, and it's not been re, you know, re, redone yet, and it doesn't
Renewed.
look like it's going to be renewed because he's being investigated by US Soccer. He just put out a statement. Him and his wife put out a joint statement. It's saying basically that he's being investigated because in 1991 him when he was just dating his wife, they had an argument outside. He says they had an argument. They were both drunk, had an argument. It went outside. Drunk. The argument got physical, and he kicked her in the legs. That's what they say. They've both signed, and they've said that's what happened. But
Yeah.
somebody had reported him to. He said that somebody had said they were going to finish him during the World Cup, and an anonymous person had threatened him basically that and we're going to finish him and that, and had reported him during the World Cup. And anyway, so he'd said that that's what happened. It was just I kicked my wife in a drunken argument. We, got a bit physical. But now, do you remember Claudio Reyna, the former
Yeah.
US player? He's played for Rangers. His wife has come out and said this is actually because of what you do. This is I reported it. I didn't make any threats or anything. I just went and reported it because I wanted him to stop talking about my son. Because during the World Cup, Berhalter had a press conference and he'd briefed the assembled media about Gio Reyna, the son, and said that he'd been in a bit of off-field trouble. Apparently, according to the mother, it wasn't anything that bad, and that's why she's so angry. He hadn't done it, but he'd said basically he's not going to play in the World Cup. He'll hardly get any minutes in that. So, don't bother asking me why. It's because of off-field troubles, because he's been a pain in the ass, basically. And he'd said, but the media have all reported it. It's got blown out. It got reported all over America. He's taken a lot of stick for not behaving at the World Cup and all this. And so the mother's got angry. Now it turns out she was the roommate. She was a footballer as well, in the US women's team. US women's team. Like she was
Yeah.
the roommate of Berhalter's wife when the incident took place at that time. See, it was before they were married. They split up for like 7 months before getting back together afterwards. And then ended up married. They've been married for like 25 years or something. But she was there when the incident happened, and she said it was a lot worse than him just kicking her, and they've underplayed
All
it and all
right.
that. And I didn't mean, I didn't expect him to get investigated or anything. All I wanted is them to, US Soccer to, when I reported this incident, and I went, I just wanted them to stop him talking about my son and make it, I just wanted all these comments about all this abuse he was getting now to stop. I just wanted it to kind of go away because he hadn't done anything like as bad as Berhalter had done in the past. And I was just really angry that he's come out and said this publicly. He's put out his public comments
Yeah.
about my son, making him look really bad when he's done far worse himself and he shouldn't be in a position to tell him anything.
All right.
Oh yeah, it's so the mother's got, the mother's a bit of a issue, it seems.
Right.
But like, what do you do in that situation? If I don't think Beholter can continue as the coach, can he?
No, no, there'd be too many people against her. I'd imagine, especially in these times where it's not acceptable. It's never been acceptable, but it's not acceptable even more now as if it's been brought to the fore.
But it's not just that. Like if he's trying to discipline players, they're just gonna say, "Well, hang on a sec now, that this is what's
Yeah,
gone on."
yeah. People who live in glass houses, yeah, absolutely.
It's a really dodgy, and the fact that he's come out, that like it undermines any authority he's got anyway by the mother doing this. It's just what you don't need, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, at the moment he's not got a job. They haven't announced who's taking charge of him. So be interested to see what they do. Whether they back him because they can't be seen to not back him.
Yeah, I can see that.
Do they say, and keep him in charge, or do they just change him quietly and just move on and try and forget about it? Like,
get Jesse Marsh.
Christ, they're not that desperate, are they?
Oh, possibly not.
We better go on for you, Bill.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe they could take Frank Lampard off their hands.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, he could go there, Frank, yeah.
But I tell you, maybe...
I'll take him in a wheelbarrow.
Wayne
I'll wheelbarrow him there.
You wouldn't be able to move him in a wheelbarrow. Not at your age, mate. You'd put your back out.
I wouldn't mind. I'd sacrifice me back.
I bet you would and all. That's the scary thing.
I would, yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's got to go, hasn't he? He's got to go for it.
I don't think he should have been appointed in the first place. So yeah, I agree with you, and I think it's the only way you're going to survive is if you get rid of him. So,
yeah, I really believe that, actually. Feel sorry for the guy, but
I don't.
I think he's a good football man, and wrong time, wrong place to take Everton over. He never done it at Derby, he never done it at Chelsea, even though he was restricted with the embargo. But yeah, he's just not up to the task at the moment. He might turn out to be a manager, actually, but it's going to take a lot of lower league stuff for me and get some experience rather than taking over what is classed as one of the top clubs in the country.
I think he stay at Derby. That's his mistake was, and I can't say I blame him because the chance to go to Chelsea, it was like for someone who's an ex-Chelsea player like he is, a Chelsea legend, the chance.
And he was idolised,
yeah. It was too good an opportunity not to take, and but I think that's cost him any chance of ever having a successful career as a manager for me.
Yeah, I think he's got to start on the bottom again. I don't think anyone's going to take a chance on him. Any top club, any decent club, even a championship side, possibly, I'd be struggling to take it at the moment.
Yeah, I can't. I think he'd have to do like Neil Lennon and people like that, where they've had to go abroad to, like, managing Malta and places like that to rebuild their career. Yeah. I think that's
I can see him doing that.
Otherwise, I think.
I'll say it. Go on.
Can he do that? Because isn't his missus a TV show host here?
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
Okay, so he can hardly. It's kind of mess with her career if he wanted. Be a lot of commuting. Otherwise.
Yeah, I think he commutes now because she stays in London all the time, and it mightn't have been easy for him logistically, to have his wife and his kids down in London and then making the commute, not seeing each other, which she's complained about at times. He mightn't have been happy, but that's football life, isn't it, I suppose?
Well, all these things should have been taken into account when the board were looking at who to hire. They should have been saying,
Absolutely,
what's
yeah.
your, they should have been asking him, what's your wife gonna do, by the way, with the kids? Are they gonna move up here with
And
you?
a job, yeah.
If not,
Yeah.
sorry. As soon as he said no, they're gonna stay down south. It should have been, no thanks. Then you're not the man for us because you're obviously not committed. It's that
Yeah,
simple.
that's the thing.
It really is that simple for me. I think that's the first thing you've got to find is who's committed to the job. It's like Jose Mourinho going to Manchester United. It just
And living in a hotel.
Yeah, I mean it never made any sense. It's not that
No.
it's not that he's not possibly the right choice under other circumstances, but under those circumstances he's 100% the wrong choice, and you should know these things, find out these things. It should be part of the interview process, and you've got to question the intelligence of the people making the decisions if they haven't asked these questions during the interview process.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, Chris. And I think that's part of the problem.
You think
that's
know
been part of the problem.
We know at Everton that the board are the problem. So first, the main problem.
Yeah.
Definitely, they're an awful waste of time.
Absolutely.
It's a shame because, who am I going to laugh at if Everton go down?
Good point.
Yeah, mind we've got no divvy anymore, so without divvy, you may as well go down because we can't guarantee the lucky goals at some point of the game. Because he did always seem to turn it on against you, didn't he?
Didn't he just? Yeah.
So maybe it's better for us if you go down now, because otherwise it's just a hard game where we tend to pick up a few knocks.
Yeah, it's the thing is, if Everton go down, they're gonna. If they do, and I think they've got a good chance of going down, it's getting back up that's going to be the absolute problem. It's not going to happen overnight.
How would FFP work if you went down?
I wouldn't know, Chris. I don't know about the finances there, about that works,
Jesus
but
Christ, you might have to.
you can't have players on 120,000 a week
Jesus.
playing in the Championship.
God, it'd be.
And a ground to pay for.
And you're already well over you're already well over the limits for Premier League FFP. Imagine what you'd be like in the Championship. Jesus.
Yeah, I know. It's a nightmare.
Yeah. The ground wouldn't matter because that's separate anyway. That's not under FFP.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's sorted as far as I know. The ground. You've got the investment for the ground, so that'll still go ahead, whatever. But it's not really a Championship ground. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be great for the city, but it's not great for.
Not so sure it's
Everton
great
Football
for the city.
Club.
It ruined the World Heritage Site.
It's going to be a fantastic stadium. It's going to be a world changer.
Wow.
We're going to have all the top acts, the top stuff, top concerts.
There's already a bunch of comedians on your pitch. So why not?
I wish I could disagree with you, Chris.
Right.
But things change.
Is there any other business, anything else you want to talk about before we...
Not really, mate. I think we've done our mid-season review.
Anything to add?
Nothing much to add.
No. Well, we'll discuss what teams you can pick for the next... We'll do a mini tournament between us, and I'll get Rob to pick a team, and we'll get 4, and we'll do a mini tournament for next week in the background.
Right, okay.
So we'll just have to come up with what the rules are, what players you can pick, and pick between us on over WhatsApp or something. Sort that out.
Okay, that's fine, sis.
So,
okay, thanks very much, boys. It's been a good night.
Yeah.
And thanks very much, and I shall see you next Thursday.
Cheers, Bill. Thank you very much. See you
okay,
next Thursday,
thanks.
mate.
Bye, Deeps. Bye, Chris.
Bye, Chris. Bye, Billy. See you next Thursday.
Ta-ra now.
Bye, mate.